So, unfortunately, there's no zinger to start today's podcast, but instead we have two very special guests. We have Josh, a returning guest, who's been killing it in the upcoming comic scene. And I think you're engaged now too, or you're married.
I am
Huh.
engaged
Wow.
in January.
Okay, talking to the mic real quick, please.
Oh.
You good? You
You
good?
know?
Yeah. And then we have his cousin Roger, who is hailing from Canada, from what I heard.
Sure.
Yeah, who's done some stuff in music management
Mm-hmm.
and radio.
And radio.
Wow. So that's two.
So it's a whole other world, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here though. Good
Yeah.
luck.
All right. So both these guys are doing their thing in their own right. But aside from the intro, I'll let you guys explain who you guys are. So Josh has been here before, so let Roger start off first. So Roger, who are you? Aside from what I just said, what do you do and how's life?
Fuck. I mean, now I consider myself as a floating spirit now, cause I've literally lived in like 9 cities. I've moved 9 times, 2 different countries, 3 provinces, and 2 states in like 6 years. Like,
Wow.
That's a lot.
so
That's
it's
a lot,
like
yeah.
I'm just kind of like everywhere when it comes to like the evolution of my art and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just kind of
Mhm.
on every front. Like, but I started off my career in radio. I did radio for like 3 years. I had a nice run doing that. Then transitioned to artist management, running studios, managing studios. A little bit of journalism. I did journalism for like a year.
Mhm.
What else, man? What haven't I done in music? The only thing, and DJing. I had a nice DJ run. I used to just wild out doing that. So,
Mhm.
and this is my cousin right here, man. You know what I mean? I was born here, but just been everywhere.
Right.
That's the
Right.
kind of the gist I can give for right now.
Got you. And Josh, what's new, brother? What's
Still in the stand-up scene. Recently started doing some TV writing, which has
Okay.
been really exciting. I'm in a writer's room for a show, and realizing the importance of having a black voice in that space. Because every now and then people will say things, and I'm like, maybe we shouldn't name her. I'm like, wow, we really need different voices in these rooms because these are the shows we watch. So that's been really exciting. I also am planning a showcase. Friends and Fam is coming back. This May 19th, we're planning another showcase. So otherwise, I've been bouncing around the stand-up scene, working on material, trying to post more, trying to get more into reels and just putting out more content. So it's been really fun, really good.
From last we saw you in December up until now, you're supposed to move to Chicago, all this other stuff. What ended up happening? Tell us in like chronological order.
Yeah, so last time I was with you guys, I was planning to move to Chicago to jumpstart my career. I was like, I'm not seeing growth in stand up. I just felt like stagnant and like there wasn't enough room to grow my material. I'm doing the same jokes in front of the same people. I'm bombing a lot. It might have been an ego thing. It was bad. I was like bombing like
Yeah.
Al Qaeda. Like it was a lot of bombing. Like Obama in 2009. Like it was a lot of bombing. It was a
Yeah.
lot. But I was planning to go to Chicago to jumpstart my career. And then I DM'd this comic Ian Lara. Do you guys ever?
I know about Ian.
So I DM'd Ian Lara randomly. Like I saw him do a podcast. He said, "Reach out to me if you have questions." I DM'd him and said, "I'm planning to move to Chicago because I feel like I'm not growing in my stand up." And he got right back to me and said, "If you leave New York and then come back to New York, you start over from zero. So say you go to
Mm.
Chicago, you grow for like 4 years, your audience grows. You come back to New York, you're still starting from the very beginning."
Yeah.
So he was saying, I personally wouldn't do that because you have to start over every time you leave and come back to New York. So that was extremely helpful because he's one of the comics I look up to. Came up through the New York scene, has an HBO special. And so there's that. And then on the other end, too, I'm now engaged, but at the time, I'm in this phase of my relationship where leaving would be it'd be like adding stress to, like, long distance is not fun. It was
That's a
never, no one likes long distance, right? It's a recipe for disaster. So I spent a lot of time thinking, like, is this worth am I doing this about comedy or is it my ego? Like, am I trying to prove to everybody I can do it on my own? I am the one, or is this about actually advancing, stand up? So, yeah, the decision came from thinking about my relationship, stand up comedy, and the momentum I have now with friends and fam, the people I know, the relationships I've made. So I decided to stay. And it's been good ever since. Like, opportunities have been flying around in a way that I know I wouldn't be able to build up if I were to move out. So it's been really good.
Yeah. So what would you say is scarier, the first time you ever did stand up or proposing?
Oh, man. Proposing was wild because I was like Googling shit like, what knee do you get on?
Oh my god.
What am I supposed to say? Lab grown diamonds. Like, can I afford this? Can I
Yeah,
do like
the moissanite,
just I was looking up everything and what'd you say?
moissanite,
Moissanite?
That's the new lab grown diamond, something like that.
I got that
As
moissanite
future,
ring,
as future, yeah,
that vibranium,
Yeah.
whatever it took. But
yeah.
so that took a lot of research and thinking about because I proposed on her birthday, so I wanted it to be. What happened was her family was coming to visit for her birthday, and I was like, this would be the best possible time. Mom and dad are in the same place. Her family lives far away, so I wanted the moment to be special for all of us, and so that felt more curated and planned. The first time I did stand up, my friend who actually has an audience like filled out a room in the Brooklyn Bell House. He said, "Yeah, man, just open for me." And that was my first time ever getting on a stage. It's like 200 people. I've never told a joke before. And so he helped me write my first joke, but still, that scared. I didn't bomb, like, but that was scary as shit. Like, going up there and just trying to break the ice. Like, so, knock, knock. Like, I don't know. I had to say something to kind of get the crowd going. But yeah, I would definitely say stand up that first time because it was a very real situation. Proposing, it felt like I've been married the past year. Like we've been together for 2 years. It felt like we all knew this was coming. Stand up was like, oh man, like this could go really bad. This could be terrible. I didn't know the crowd was gonna say yes. Right. They could throw a tomato at me. Like they could, I don't know. So I would say yeah, stand up was definitely scarier.
Okay, and for Roger, you said you've been all over. You said what was it, 9 countries in 3 years? You said.
Oh no, that was two countries. Moved 9 times, 2 countries,
Countries.
3 provinces, 2 states in 6 years.
And expand upon that. Why? What was the reason? Was it for your career?
Who are
was
you
it
running
just-
from?
Yeah, I be fucking up. That's why I kept going. Nah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't even know really where to start. I'm gonna make it like brief because there's so many moves. Like,
Mhm.
I was doing my thing in Winnipeg. Like, I had a crazy run out there. I lived a wild ass life. Like,
Mhm.
like fucking, on any given day, I'm coming home at 9 a.m., 11 a.m. Fucking, but nah. But I had my radio run there, and I just felt like I was peaking in my career at the time. So, and I was going fucking nuts because I was partying so hard. You feel me? So I was like, all right, yo, I want to level up. I'm gonna go to North Carolina first
Mhm.
and like calm my ass down. So I did that for 9 months. I started going crazy out there because shit was going so well.
Mhm.
And I was like, yo, I could really like, my life is together right now, and I could find a shorty and just get married. And I was like, yo, I don't even want to fucking do that. I'm going to New York and I'm gonna do this shit again. And I came to New York. I did it again with the music. But then New York smacked me in the face. Like, it was like a real reality check. Like, this
Yeah,
is
it's not
New
as
York.
easy.
Like,
Yeah.
this is what it is. Like, because I was trying to do this shit with, like, no job. Like,
Mhm.
nigga, I had no job in New York for, like, 5 months, just running the studio, straight commission. You don't even want to get into what I had to do to get the bread. You feel me? But, like, I did certain things. You feel me? Not no dirty. That sounds crazy.
No Diddy,
like,
no Diddy, no
yeah,
Diddy,
no
no
Diddy,
Diddy.
bro. And then like I just said, fuck it. I was like, yo, like, I gotta get a job. I ended up getting a job. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna make it brief. I ended up getting like a janitor job, and then that went into like I moved up that company 4 times. I ended up going corporate in like a year and 3 months while simultaneously doing music. So then COVID hit, boom. I get another promotion, same company, corporate. now I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the stratosphere, and then leveled up again over there. So now to, break it all down, I just overestimated my position and just started going crazy because I'm young Zaire. You know what I'm saying? Spend money, girls, blah 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 blah. So then moved again, but I think this is my last stop. That's like a 2% of how much I could say on that.
That's still a lot.
Yeah.
Still was a lot. No, it's good. It's good. So how was it being a person of color in Canada, growing up in Canada? How was that for you?
Um, it was a different experience because so I'm from Winnipeg, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not Toronto, it's not Montreal. It's like out there. Like I went from like going to all black school in North Carolina in middle school, and then I went to all white school. You feel me? In Winnipeg, Canada. Like the first middle school I went to out there, it was like maybe 4 of us, 4 black people, and then my high school was like 10 black people.
That was mine too. So
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was just like a trip. And but I don't know, it was like the culture out there, it's like mad Caribbeans, mad people from Africa and shit like that. So even though I didn't go to school with all of them, because none of us did, we would still see each other like in the neighborhood.
Right.
And niggas was running around doing that. So I don't know. Like Winnipeg in specific is like a totally different culture when it comes to that, because like the way we listen to music, the opportunities aren't even as like fruitful in front of your face and everything like that. So like, in Canada you can't really feel the racism until you really turn like 18, whereas in America it's like really in your face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then, before I give it back to Pablo real quick, you mentioned about the music thing, which is perfect segue. How did you, being who you are, person of color, being Roger, how did that affect your perspective in music coming up in your ascension?
What's crazy is so Josh's older brother's the one that got me into music, like for real. I spent the summer out there. He's introducing me to like Mobb Deep and Nas, all that. Like I remember being 13 years old, 2005. I was always a music lover, but then like when he showed me like the old school, like that shit fucked my head up. That shit turned into like a drug for me. I'm digging every single day for like 7 years. Like everyone's catalog. Like I'm an encyclopedia right now. But then after that, I just chose to like jump in the game because I've been digging for records for so long. So how Canada affected that was like, yo, it's so cold out there that like you're just in the studio all day, every single day. That's why with Drake and The Weeknd and Justin Bieber, that's why the music sounds like that. That's why it's all about woman all the time, because it's so cold and you just inside, you got to cuddle up and you just got to be in the studio. There's nothing else to do and get high. That's why The Weeknd talk about getting high all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that kind of like affected like how my approach with music as well.
Got you.
So then tell us about how it was with radio. Did you like host your own show? Like how did you what was the details of your radio experience?
Yeah, so it was called the College Draft Radio Show. So because I was digging for records like super underground shit, like the concept of the show was like, you get to high school, you playing ball in high school, you get to college, but like, can you get to that draft though? Like right before you about to hit the league. So I started hitting up artists kind of in that range, and like I'm a little old. I'm 32, so I was getting mad people on my show, like fucking Odd Future, Joey Badass, and more old school artists too, like Mobb Deep. I was getting like Bryson Tiller on my show and all that, and that was like the first year.
Wow.
Like never did radio. I just hopped in. And I said, yo, I can do this shit.
Right.
And that was like the whole concept of the show, and life kind of just changed since then.
And then what about the music management? How'd you get into that?
That was just because like one of my best friends, he actually lived in my building. He was kind of like a one of the better like local acts. Like you already had radio play and all that, and he lived in my building, and I knew him from like going to parties and fucking bitches and doing all that type of shit. So so then I'm like, all right, yo, I'm gonna be a manager, bro. You know what I'm saying? We doing this, and we had a 4-man crew, and then I just kind of like jumped into that just random, like Googling it, trying it, trial error, and then like eventually I got type nice at it.
got you.
Mm-hmm.
So back to Josh now. Josh, real quick. You said you've been writing for TV. You said right briefly. You thought we'd missed that. You're writing for TV. How'd that happen?
For that.
Okay.
Odd Future, Bryson Tiller. Nigga, what?
Yeah.
You just casually dropped some of the craziest names.
Yeah.
Like you met them, interviewed them, like type.
I swear it
Nigga.
became
Yeah,
casual.
expound
We
upon
ain't
that.
never talked about this, bro.
I
We've
thought
never-
you knew.
I didn't. I guess either that or they weren't who they are now. But that's crazy. You might have told me about Bryson in 2016, and I was like, I don't know. It's no hit. Like, but
I don't know. I mean, would you expound on it? Like what, how I felt?
I just felt like
How'd you manage to get them on the show? Like, how'd you reach out to them? How'd you network? How'd that go?
I'm not even gonna lie. I used being from Canada to like my advantage. Like I'm like a very like I study human psychology, OD.
Mhm.
So like in my mind, I'm like, all right, yo, I'm pitching from Canada. I already know that an artist is gonna be like, if somebody from America was to pitch to him, it's gonna be like, yo, I could already get to all this. Like, but I know like I'm putting Canada
Yeah.
and radio. And this many listeners, and all I know in their minds like, yeah, man, yo, I'm getting foreign shows, man. I'm Canada with it. Da, 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 da.
That's smart.
So
That's a
that's
genius,
how I
yeah.
would just, hook it in.
Yeah.
And then eventually I just start getting better at interviewing, and I'll be muscling niggas too, bro. Like if you said no to me, that just means you don't know, and you gonna find out
You
later.
gonna
So you
find
might as well
out.
say yeah now. Like
Right,
that was like
right.
my attitude. Like
Mhm.
if you said
No
no to
diddy.
me, I'm gonna pull up to the venue. I'm going backstage, or I'm waiting in the back lane. And I'm arguing with the managers, like, let me in. I'm kicking in the door. This is where I'm going. Like, so that was always like kind of like my attitude with like locking in interviews.
yo, why Tory Lanez did that?
Oh.
I'm just playing.
Don't put my man on the
I'm
spot. Don't
just
put my
playing.
man on the
I'm
spot.
just playing. But yeah, the TV thing is a recent thing. I was in an Uber in LA, and basically I was in the Uber with, I was gonna say his name. I don't know if I can do that. Redacted. Me and Taj were in the Uber in LA, and we're going to Taj's friend's party, and the Uber driver is a showrunner, and he's trying to come up with this idea for a show for a studio, and so me and Taj were just talking about random stuff. And he turned around and was like, "Oh, what do you guys do?" And we shared, and I told him about stand up. And he basically gave me the pitch of the idea of the show he was creating. And, at the time, I didn't really think much of it, but we exchanged social media information. And then a couple of months passed by, and he reached out to me on Instagram and again said, I'm putting together this writer's room for this show. We have a budget for one comedian. We'd love to have you on. And he watched a bunch of my clips on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And that kind of made me insecure because, I don't know, I post stuff, but I'm like, this is all based on real events. Like, I wasn't really doing them things. I don't know. My comedy, I'm still learning how to be vulnerable with it. Like, I posted a video today, and I'm still thinking, like, do people think I hate my fiance? Like, are people going to think I'm an asshole? What are they thinking? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I overthink about that type of stuff, but basically, the dude followed up, told me about the show, and I've been attending meetings, and I'm going to fly out to LA later this month to write out the whole first season. And
That's fire.
right, they flying niggas out, bro. They
That's
flying.
OD.
they flying the kid out off jokes, nigga. Off just.
Right.
But
Can you name the show?
I don't know yet.
I mean,
let's
I don't
not.
know
Let's
if I
not.
can.
It might breach
Yeah.
something.
We'll build the suspense for the listeners.
Yeah, I don't know what I can say about it. Yeah, I should have looked that up before I came out. But basically, it's about
we don't want to breach your NDA if you have.
it's
one.
about a rehab center, and my dad worked in a rehab center, and it's about drug addiction. And I am addicted to drug now. I was like, I'd love to talk about this topic.
This is the big
I'm a
reveal.
method actor, right? He was like, "Do you know anything about drug addiction?" I was like, "Do I?" But yeah, it's about a rehab center, and my dad works at a center. He's a counselor, so I told them about that, and they're like, "Oh, this is perfect." And so I mentioned before, I'm realizing the importance of diversity because in the meetings, it's me, the creator, another writer, two producers, and then another writer,
Mhm.
and they're all.
Yeah.
And so every now and then, I'll bring up a topic or they'll say a topic, and we just can't connect on it. Like
Yeah.
we were talking about a character who was a prostitute and was reformed and came to the center, and we're all trying to figure out like what a prostitute would say in a certain line. Like, why would a person sell their body? I don't know. What do you think, Josh? And I'm like, nigga, I don't know either. I don't know any prostitutes. You know any prostitutes, Josh? I'm like, no, I don't. I mean, OnlyFans doesn't count, but it's so it's been really interesting to see the decisions that are made, um, to see what gets raised and what gets brought into the season, what storylines are kept, what characters are based on people know, and have you ever okay random, but have you guys seen that episode of Atlanta with like the rappers get older and then they get a young white correspondent?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the young nigga in the writers' room. It's like, nigga, what do black kids say here, Josh? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, no, that's not what he would. It's not what he would say. But it's been cool, and hopefully, right now we're trying to raise money to get the first season made. So a lot of things are up in the air, but we will be writing out a whole first season, and that's really exciting. And I'm already gonna throw it in a fake IMDb. Like I'm already just gonna tell people, yeah, I wrote for TV and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, it's been really cool, and because the topic is really close to me, like I lived in the center for a while, and
Is this you telling us that you?
no, I just wanted to move out the house.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I was
Gotcha.
like, I just need my own crib, and like moved
Yeah.
to the center my dad worked at. Then I got kicked out for doing drugs. So, but yeah, the topic is really close to me, and it's about kind of the fact that anybody can become addicted to anything, and anybody can grow and change. Like the main character, the whole first episode, she's like, I don't belong here, and then she relapses at the end of the first episode. So, yeah, it's a strong message. Hopefully, it comes out. But it's been a really cool experience.
Yeah, and how would you say writing jokes is different than like TV writing? Like, what's the difference in the architecture and of the jokes and setups and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's one thing the dude said. He was like, so for writing jokes, I'm getting better at it now where I just pick topics that I can relate to in my real life. Setup is the setup is, I was walking down the street, blah, blah, blah. Then you pause, then the punchline has to be shorter than the setup. Like 3 syllables, 4 syllables, 2 syllables ideal. So you set it up. I'm trying to think of an example I don't know. When writing jokes, there's a rhythm to it. It kind of feels like music. Syllable, 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 pause, boom, boom. And that's the joke, and that gets a laugh. For writing for TV, you kind of pull from real world experiences and real people, but there's a whole different structure involved of like, how do we build this character up? Who is this character? Why do they do what they do? Like for the prostitute character, we have to do research. We're looking up rehab centers. We're looking up how much things cost. There's a lot of more research that goes into fleshing out a 3-dimensional person than there is of like, so I was walking down the street, nigga had his dick out. Like it's a very different process. Stand up feels like just talking, whereas writing TV is like you got to consult with people and make sure shit is real. You got to make sure things and numbers are obvious and honest. You got to like do the background, and then you have to present characters that don't feel like stereotypes. And I think that's something that's been helpful for me being in the space of like, this woman kind of feels like she doesn't have no dimension. She just says and that's all she does. So, yeah, writing for TV takes a lot more research and a group of people because you need a bunch of different perspectives on it. You can't just be you. Whereas writing stand up could just be like, this morning I woke up and my dick was hard, and it's like your inner perspective. So a lot more goes into TV than stand up, but stand up does help with TV in that you just think of funny stuff out of serious moments. Like you think of things in jokes after a while. So yeah, I would say stand up is much easier, and I'm learning this half, of screenwriting.
In that same breath too, I know well, Pablo and I know, and maybe your network may know, but how is that showcase coming along? I know you have a showcase coming up. Talk about that.
Yeah, yo. Friends and fam. May 17th is the day. We used to do Friends and Fam at my brother's studio. Roger and my brother were working in the studios, a music studio in the Bronx, Zone 6. Shout out Zone 6, RIP Zone 6. It's not around anymore, but it was a thing. And this new showcase is going to be at a spot called Acoustic Garden Lounge. It's in Brooklyn. It's on Atlantic Avenue. The owner's mad cool. The space holds 70 people, way more people. There's an outdoor spacing spot. Comedy kind of dies in the summertime. Winter is a big period of time for stand up. And then summertime, people are busy outside. It's like hoses outside. Why would I go watch a nigga tell jokes? Like it's bitches outside. So, like,
Sorry to the women listening.
But this having an outdoor spacing and can hold 70 people makes me think, okay, I gotta pack these shows out. Like the energy, I gotta have a musical guest. I gotta have great comedians. I gotta have a host that's fire. The old shows I was doing, I used to try and host and do my set and produce. It was way too much. I'm running around the stage. I'm saying hi to people. I'm like, hey, auntie. And then it's a lot of different things to hold. So this time around, we got some good comedians, Delaney Flanagan, Alexis Bradley, my man Psy, couple people I'm waiting to hear answers back from. But, it's going to be a really good showcase. It's going to have a lot of really good points of view on it. And it's going to be really funny comics. So I'm really proud and really excited. May 17th. Get your tickets when they're available, and yeah, it's going to be the beginning of something new. Hopefully we do it every other month and get back into that routine that I had last year.
Mhm. And then now that you're writing, quote unquote, for a TV show that will be unnamed, do you feel better than was it Sean you mentioned from the last podcast? This guy who you didn't think it was that funny, but he's doing better than you. Do you feel better than him now?
Sean.
Sean or some name like Eric or some generic Caucasian name.
Oh, was it? Oh no. Dang, I don't remember.
You said he
who-
started writing for a TV show or like something involving.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Caleb.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Caleb's like a mentor. Caleb taught me how to write my jokes. Like Caleb put me on. He's the person who had the show that I opened for. So Caleb is a comic that put me onto comedy and helped me write jokes and opened a lot of doors for me in that way. And watching him do it, I was like, all right, I could do it too. Like hold my beer. Like I could probably try it out too. But it took a lot. I didn't realize how much it takes to do stand up well. So that's what a lot of this past 2 years has been. And no, I am not better than Caleb. Caleb has a show actually coming up next week. We're in April 19th in the Brooklyn Bell House. Caleb sells out in minutes. Like Brooklyn Bell House is like a 300 people capacity. Caleb will say, hey guys, coming to Brooklyn. It will sell out in 10 minutes.
Wow.
I not there yet, but yeah, trying to get to a place where one day I'll be able to do like what Gerard Carmichael, what Rami Youssef, what Caleb does of like, hey guys, I'll be here. Tickets are $10, and then arrive there and it's packed. Like that would be a goal to get to. So, yeah, Caleb has a show coming up April 19th. If this drops by then, April 19th, I'm also doing a show at Bentley University. Going back to my old college. I didn't think they'd invite me back because the last show I did, I was kind of wilding. But I was like, I may never come back here. The president is what? Like, I was saying all types of stuff. And I was like, this might be the last time they invite me. But I'm going to be back at Bentley next week, April 19th, for a BUB event. So, yeah, no, I'm still working to get to where Caleb is. But things are bubbling and, like, the momentum is there. And so I'm trying to just keep posting videos, writing new stuff, and, like, hitting the iron while it's hot. Because now I have a level of confidence that I just didn't have before. Like now I like know, whereas before I was like maybe, but now I'm like, Nah.
I'm
So,
that nigga.
right, like kind of. So I feel like J. Cole before Saturday. Like I feel like I kind of feel a level of confidence, but I'm not sure if it's there. I might apologize tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah.
fair enough. All right, and then we'll end the show with our new guest Roger. So tell us what's the biggest differences you've noticed between the NYC market and the Canadian market in terms of music management, radio, whatever it is that you're into, women,
Life.
drugs.
Oh man,
Work.
Yeah.
Women.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy because like when I first came to New York in general, like as an adult, like you know, I was a little younger, I guess like 26. I still would consider that like young, 26, 27.
Mhm.
So I was really wilding, and like I could get away with that. Like now, I've only been here for like 3 weeks now, like coming back, and like
Mhm.
I've been outside every day, and like now, um, the music out here, like the scene is bubbling really crazy with all the drill and the sexy drill and stuff like that. So, you really gotta be like very serious.
Mhm.
Like I can't really be like. I could be me, but it can't be like I'm talking because not right now the New York scene is like very like straight to business, and it's like the difference with Canada is like in Canada there's not as much business. It's very like government regulated, like grants, and you do government grants to do music in Canada.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why like all the big artists from Canada come to United States,
Yeah.
get the record deal. So out here, I just feel like the last thing I'll say about that, I'll give y'all a funny story. I'm just in a party like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I've been partying every day, but like I was in a party like 2-3 days ago.
Stay at a party.
And like I'm talking to this girl, right? And I'm, only got eyes for you, and what's up, blah, 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 blah. So how old are you? It's like, yeah, so I'm 22. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, damn, like, and I realize I'm the oldest nigga in this whole party, like, so that's like the difference. It's like, and it's a young man's game, like for real. You feel me? So I'm still like kind of adjusting to that. There's a lot going on in my life when it comes to New York though, but I'm really glad of like where it's at. So two different, same profession, but two different ways of going about it. But New York is very sturdy.
Gotcha. And then
Mhm.
this is, I guess, is a personal question. Why do people from Toronto sound like that?
Yeah,
who
yo,
allowed
what are
that?
you saying, dog? Yo, what are you dealing
Still.
with?
Toronto,
You know,
man.
from time, you know.
Huh?
Nah, that like if I was talking to my friends from
What?
Canada, like on the phone right now, like I would just code switch because like that's just the way we talk. But like on a serious note though, like niggas talk like that, bro, because it's like yo, it's like it's the influence of Arab, it's Arab slang, it's Jamaican patois, it's fucking it's just all that mixed together. We really a different culture. We right next to each other, but it's just so different.
Right.
So that's where that accent comes from, and we share the same kind of shit with like the UK. You know, like when niggas is on the road, it's like roadman. You know, with the food. You know, like that, you know? Like you know what I'm saying. So it's like that's why niggas sound like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like even in Winnipeg, the slang is a little bit different than Toronto. Like in Toronto, it's really like like. But in Winnipeg, it's like the African niggas out there be like, yo, what's up, man? Yo, dog, yo, you know what I mean? Like, yo, what's up, buddy, man? You good? Yo, you know what I mean? So every kind of like region has their own slang, but it's like the same culture of like Caribbeans, Africans, Arabs, kind of all coexisting together. You feel me?
Yeah. And then last question before we wrap up is what's next for you now that you're here?
Man, a lot, man. I'm like right now I'm doing artist management. I manage an artist named Mula Mandam.
Oh,
He's
really?
really heating up
Okay,
right now.
yeah, he's fire.
His singles really like we just did a video for Nuck and Buck. That song is going up. On some boring shit, but kind of some lit shit. I just started a job today, actually.
Congrats.
In the
Love to
film
hear that.
industry.
Gainful employment.
And stuff like that. So I'm
Niggas
just
is
looking forward
employed.
to like learning with that. But then the last thing I want to say was coming up for me outside of those two things as well is like I really want to go back to my roots of like digging for records and dropping ill mixes and interviews and all of that. So I'm gonna just do all those 3 worlds in one, and we're gonna see what's up from there. But big things.